From the beginning of time, man has always had a pursuit of the best quality of life possible. That quality of life is not possible without resources. The form of resources we have accumulated has changed over time from cowrie shells, state-controlled money, precious metals, real estate, and stocks and bonds. Over the past 100 years, the world has been dominated by the US dollar and its reserves. But everything that has a beginning also has an end. A new financial revolution is upon us with the emergence of a digital economy. The way we earn, spend, and accumulate resources is fundamentally changing. A new asset has appeared that the wealthy have overlooked. Bitcoin has become the best performing asset of the past decade by far. With only 21 million ever in existence, there are more millionaires and billionaires in the world today than there are Bitcoin. Just by holding 0.25 Bitcoin today will put you in the top 1% asset holders in the world in the next 5 to 10 years. If you had invested $100,000 in Bitcoin in 2013, today it will be worth more than $15 million. Bitcoin billionaire Raoul Pal says, Bitcoin's performance is so dominant and so all-encompassing that it is going to suck in every single asset narrative dry and spit it out. Never before in my career have I seen a trade so dominant that holding any other assets makes almost no sense. This is not an industry you can afford to ignore. If you want to remain in business, then you must adapt. Are you offering services in Bitcoin? Are you accepting payments with digital currencies? Have you adopted blockchain technology? Blockbuster Video at one point was the most dominant video service in the world. They had the opportunity to be part of Netflix, but they ignored the changing technology. Where is Blockbuster today? Where will you be tomorrow? All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Early Morning Crypto Talk. This is Bitcoin Brandon from Los Angeles, California. Go ahead and type your name in the chat box where you're listening in from. I am the founder and CEO of ILCA, Ivy League Crypto Academy. We teach crypto education from those of you who are beginners to those of you who think you are seasoned veterans. In fact, this upcoming week is our next 5-day challenge. We only do it once a month. And our theme this month is going to be the metaverse. The metaverse. So 3 out of the 5 nights, we will be covering the metaverse. Night 1, we're going to be covering basic crypto education knowledge for all the beginners. And then the rest of the week is going to be all about the metaverse. In fact, I might even have the 5th day. Well, I do it how to make money. Yeah, I'm going to have 4 days about the metaverse, because we'll do how to make money on the Monday night recap call the following Monday. So anybody that has not registered yet for the 5-day challenge, there's no cost to do so. All you have to do is go to ilcachallenge.com. It's scrolling right there at the bottom of the screen. ilcachallenge.com, and you can be a register for that. Starts Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Also, one of our members is going to be speaking twice. Dr. Byron Nelson. He's going to be speaking on Tuesday night and on Thursday night. He asked, I said, nah, I'm going to give you 2 nights. So he's got Tuesday night and Thursday night, Dr. Byron Nelson. So you don't want to miss that out. I'm probably going to have Professor Oscar Sistrunk up on Monday night, Miss Marnita Casa on Wednesday night, and Mr. Day 5 Captain, give me that Herschel Crow on Friday. All right. Now, this is our Saturday morning crypto talk. I do this open for the public. I do a crypto talk every day of the week except Friday and Sunday. But Monday through Thursday, it is for my inner circle members only. That is our paying community. It costs $49 a month to be a part of that inner circle. And I have to tell you, these individuals get the most information. And the information we share is allow people to make thousands, hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars off this information. One thing I know Herschel was showing me, we had a good pick with the SUI token because there's a lot of information coming up about SUI, which I will share on Monday morning in our inner circle. Yeah, we actually picked good on that. He's been very busy doing a lot of research on the technology that the company you see that I have representing in the back, Starvara, is putting together. You guys that is on the outside think that this is just a game that we're talking about. Now, yeah, I'm excited about that aspect because of the product. I'm excited about playing it, but I'm excited about the product, that there's going to be millions of people who want to pay for the product itself. But I'm more excited about the technology that's powering it. Dark fusion technology, and they're using Web 3.0 smart contract layer 2, not on Ethereum, but on Bitcoin. Now, if you are seasoned in crypto, you will say that's impossible. Bitcoin does not have layer 2s. That's what separates Bitcoin from Ethereum. Ethereum is a smart contract platform built for layer 2s. Bitcoin has always been too slow. But what are you talking about? Well, they've solved that issue. And Starvara is introducing new technology that is first to the market. And the other blockchains are now trying to duplicate. And that's what Mr. Crow has been finding. I'm looking at what he sent me, and we'll cover this stuff on Monday, that Ethereum and Binance is attempting to figure out how to do what Starvara and Dark Fusion has already done. So they're in that investigative mode right now. And this is technology that really, well, the Dark Fusion's been in development for a while, but the concept of using Bitcoin's blockchain just started over the last 2.5 months, maybe 3 months. The leading token on the BRC, on that network, was Pepe. And we'll take a look at to see what Pepe is doing right now. But it's largely under the radar for the average crypto enthusiasts. For the hardcore crypto enthusiasts, they're all over this. So I may cover a little bit of that today. Now, this is our Saturday morning crypto talk. We go week to week. I'm going to share you what's going on in the crypto space on the reading the charts. There's a whole lot of articles, far more articles than I'll ever be able to cover. I wouldn't really need to be doing 3 crypto talks a day just to keep up with the news and the information. But also, I woke up this morning and I saw something about this yesterday, but I was preoccupied yesterday. I want to say congratulations to my wife. She's graduated from UCLA Bruins, which is funny because my family's always been a USC Trojans on the California side, but she is now an official Bruin yesterday in a long ceremony, but it was all good. So I was not paying attention too much to the news, and I see this morning on every news channel that's paying attention, Russia is on the verge of civil war. This should stop everybody in their tracks. And this is one of the things where I say, in the crypto space, we can't just read the charts. We've got to pay attention to what's going on outside of the crypto space that could impact the financial markets. That's why I cover geopolitics. I cover what's going on in the stock market and the precious metals, what's going on in politics, in religion, in wars around the world that you think has nothing to do with us. The world is connected. Everything is connected. There is no such thing as our ability to do isolationism. That concept is long gone. The moment the internet, actually the moment the telephone was created, that concept is long gone. In fact, I got a question this morning about technology and our ability to, should we embrace it? Should we be fearful of it? Should we skip it? Is it a major concern? And I was going to address that this morning as well. But I'll do that at the end here. Let's see this. People are concerned about this new technology because it can cause people to get addicted to the game, addicted to the metaverse, addicted to what AI. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna address that at the end. And if I'm about to close and I haven't brought that up, somebody please remind me. Say, Brandon, talk about addiction. That's the word. I'll even write that down right here so I'm gonna remind myself. Addiction. We're gonna talk about that. All right. So first up, go ahead, type in the chat box where you're listening in from. I see we have a lot of people. We're on StreamYard this morning. We are streaming in all of the Facebook groups. Also in where you can hop on StreamYard. We're also on YouTube and we are on Twitter this morning. And I see Mr. Albert from Connecticut. All right. Good morning, Mr. Albert. I see Jana from Wyoming. DJ Coulter from Colorado. Miss Marnita Casa from Colorado. Home of the championship Nuggets. Wow, I never thought I'd say that. Martha from Cancun. Good morning, good morning. Jackie Frick from North Carolina. I see Nathan from Vegas. DJ Colorado trying to represent. Joyce Easley. Happy Saturday from South Carolina. Another one from Colorado. Janelle Appling. Good morning, good morning. George, I see you, George. You're showing up as Facebook user, but there's George. Dagmar from Lake Arrowhead. Good morning, good morning. Phyllis from Vancouver. All right, another Facebook users in just saying good morning. See Faye Harris from Temecula. Neil Brooks, Richmond, Virginia. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Marnita's putting there also that want to attend the Inner Circle Daily Crypto Talk, ilcasecrets.com/sales page. Let's see. Good morning, Miss Victoria Peterson from Durham, North Carolina. Good morning. Kevin Strouser from Georgia. You guys that are showing up as Facebook user, right at the top of the comments, it says if you want your name to show, because I'm streaming through StreamYard, click on the StreamYard, and then I actually will see your name. I see Eldridge and from Colombia is on through YouTube. Eldridge, buenos dias, ¿cómo está? You know what? Eldridge, he's a perfect example of an individual who took full advantage of being in a home-based business, making enough money, and then he left, found a wife, and repatriated in another country, living like a king. Good morning, Eldridge. Michael Pendleton, good morning, good morning. All right. Let's see. Oh, who's been blowing me up here? Just no. Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. So I hope you had a good Friday, a good week. We are coming to the close of June. Oh, man, this month is flying by fast. So let me go ahead and share screen, and we're going to get into some of the crypto news. Share screen. Windows style. All right. Oh, yeah, I forgot to go through this. The new Vara compensation deck. All right, I'll do that later. Okay, so let's go see what's going on in the crypto world. Oh, so the crypto world is reacting. Let's double check and make sure this is all fresh. Wagner Group, that's right. I was talking about that. This everybody should be pausing right now and be paying attention to this. I mean the governments, because anytime you have instability in a nuclear powered state, that is all of our business. So we all know, I'm not going to go through all the history. Russia has invaded Ukraine. Russia believed that they were going to be able to just strut all the way into Kiev. Their soldiers had their dress uniforms for the victory parade. They thought it would be a one-day war, and it was going to show Russia's might to the rest of the world, and Putin's attempt to reestablish the Soviet Union. And that is his ultimate goal. If you understand who Putin is, where he got his indoctrination from, where he comes from, that is his ultimate goal. The relive the glory days of the Soviet Union and watch the demise of the West. And if you know this about him, if you're able to profile him, which the government did, then you have to ask the question, how can he accomplish this? If the United States was able to defeat the Soviet Union without firing a shot, that meant we didn't beat them on the battlefield. We beat them in the financial field, the financial arena. And it's an arena that the United States has dominated since World War II. So how can Russia compete with the United States in the financial markets? They cannot. So what do? What has every conqueror in history been able to do? What gives them the advantage over their competitors? Technology. Those of you in the inner circle heard me talk about that. I've been on this binge of watching on Disney Plus. They have Marvel Universe, and you can see every single content they've created in order, timeline. So I've been starting from the beginning and going through, and I was watching just the original Iron Man the other day, the first one. And the terrorist was telling Tony Stark a story. And he told him, he said, about some ruler. And he said, this ruler ruled from the Pacific Ocean all the way to Ukraine. Do you realize how big that is? If you can pull the map up in your head, the Pacific Ocean, which is on the the east coast of China, all the way across China, all the way past Russia, India, Pakistan, the whole Middle East, past all of that, all the way to Ukraine, which is in Europe. I don't think there has been an empire bigger than that. The Roman Empire was not even close to that size. Genghis Khan's empire wasn't even close to that size. And he did it because he had a secret weapon, the first to use it, called the bow and arrow. And then you had this little tiny island in the North Atlantic called England. And England was able to build an empire big enough where the sun never sat on it. So how can this tiny island, which means it's got a small population, how could they subdue the rest of the world? They had a fleet, they mastered the oceans, and they had guns. The first nation that was mass producing the guns. That's how they subdued India, China, Africa, Middle East. Australia was a penal colony for them. So Putin said something in 2014. No, 2016. Because that's when I saw this, but it was in early 2016. He made a statement when he ordered the banking system in Russia to start to look into creating a central bank digital currency. This was in 2016. And when they asked him why, he said, the Stone Age didn't end due to the lack of stones. Look around on the ground. The stones are still there. The Stone Age ended due to the introduction of better technology. The nation who adopts this new technology will become the new world superpower. And the nations that do not will live underneath the nations that do. What technology was he talking about at that time? This is 2016. He was talking about blockchain technology. that is bringing a new financial revolution. So why would Putin be looking in that direction? Because it is a direct challenge against the West and the US dollar's dominance, because the United States wields it as a weapon. This is how we've been able to remain on top since World War II. We helped rebuild the planet after World War II, which meant we installed leaders in other countries that would be friendly and always looking after United States interests, even above their own, which is why the people in those nations that we installed the leader, and you say, how can we install the leader? Because we backed them financially. And whoever was running against them could not match the finances of the United States. So whoever has the money is the one who always wins. So when we would put these puppet leaders in place, and they were always instituting policies that was friendly to us and against their own people, the people rose against them. And you would have many revolutions. That's what happened in China. China was our ally in World War II. They got overthrown by the communists. And the leadership that we had installed fled to Taiwan, and we're still dealing with that conflict all the way till today. United States installed a leader in Iran. The people rebelled against them. And you have the Iranian Revolution in 1979. And Russia has been emphasizing on that for the last 30, 40 years. So the only way we're going to attack or be able to defeat the West is not on the battlefield, but it's going to be on the finances. So they've been messing around with blockchain all this time. They've been putting the puzzles together to create their own financial economic bloc. And you're seeing it today called the BRICS nations. And so they made a calculated decision. It was good and bad at the same time. The calculated decision was they knew we're going to invade Ukraine and there's nothing the United States is going to be able to do about it. Because they know the United States doesn't want to threaten with nuclear war. So Putin's thinking, okay, if they're not going to engage with us in battle, which we know they're not, they feel comfortable they're going to put sanctions on us. And that's exactly what the United States did. United States dropped one of the largest sanctions in human history on a nation. It was designed to cripple Russia to the point where the people would create a revolution against Putin. Or his top leaders and commanders, the other Russian oligarch billionaires, would rise up against Putin because they are the only ones who have the ability the resources to do that. So we froze all their accounts. We took all their toys. We took their property. We took their yachts. But what normally would happen didn't happen. The nation didn't crumble. In fact, they thrived. And last year, the Russian ruble outperformed the US dollar. You're like, how is that possible with all these sanctions we put on them? Because the other countries in the world was like, all right, America, we kind of had enough of you. You know, bullying everybody around with threats of sanctions and whatnot and throwing that money card at us. They decided to continue to do business with Russia, but without using the US dollar, which is what the rest of the world does. And as a result, the Russian economy actually thrived. Now they're getting their butts kicked on the battlefield side. So only half of their plan worked. And they proved to the rest of the world that you can stand up to the United States and the US dollar and not, get put under the ground. And now the rest of the world, seeing that weakness, they are running to the polar opposite of the US dollar, the BRICS nations. And that big meeting is in August. It's in August. And BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And here's an article I'm going to cover on that too, where Brazil's is to push de-dollarization agenda at BRICS meeting. They want to remove the US dollar as the world's reserve currency, or at least create a competition, an option, so that you don't have to use the US dollar anymore. See, before you had to. If you want to do anything big on the international stage, you better be using the US dollar as your strategy. What are you going to use, the Mexican peso? No. It's the dollar bill. And that is what has allowed the United States to be able to live in a debt society with $31 trillion in debt and not phase. We just print more money whenever we want to. No consequences. That's about to come to an end. But what I woke up to this morning, Russia was not as strong militarily as Putin thought they were. They didn't roll into Ukraine like the United States rolled into Afghanistan and Iraq, like a knife through butter, with no real problems for us. That's not the case for Russia. And they have been embarrassed to the point where they have to outsource their military to some group called the Wagner Group. Spelled Wagner, but they call it the Wagner Group. And is led by another Russian billionaire who has his own little private army. And the thing is, he's not getting his money from Russia. He's not getting his money from Putin. See, most of the oligarchs in Russia owe their $1 billion to all of the sweetheart deals that they got from Putin, but they have to pledge their loyalty to him. That's something Donald Trump wants to do. But this cat is getting his money because he's raping 2 countries in Africa of their natural resources, and that's funding everything he's doing, to the point he does not fear Putin, which is astounding in Russia. You even cross Putin and you're going to end up missing, poisoned, in Siberian jail cell somewhere. That's how the oligarchs and the dictators work. They don't allow for opposition, period. They will censor the media. They will shut you down. You will be killed. Fortunately, that's not how it works in America yet. But in Russia, you can't play that. Ain't nobody going to stand up to Putin. But this guy is. He's got the money. He's got the military. And he knows that Russia can't do nothing about it. So he's been complaining for months now. If you've been paying attention to the news, this funny looking cat in a military uniform is all going, oh, Russia's throwing, they're not giving us what we need, and we're getting massacred in Ukraine, and the generals in Russia are all inept. They don't know what they're doing. And he finally had enough. And he's turned his weapons from pointing at Ukraine, he's pointing them at Russia. And he's marching in the opposite direction now. He's marching right back into Russia, which is what's going on right now. And now he's threatening to march on to Moscow. So now this goes back to the United States is actually getting what we wanted, which what sanctions was supposed to do. Force the elite in Russia to stand up against Putin. Well, sanctions didn't do it. But another oligarch is this Wagner guy. And how this plays out is global interest. Because if you've got a destable civil war going on in Russia, who's going to come out on top? Who's going to control their nuclear arsenal? Can we do business with them? Let me tell you what's happening behind the scenes right now. I guarantee you, Ukrainians and the US and NATO is reaching out to this guy. And behind the scenes, they're telling him, what do you need? Let's make a deal. What do you need to take out Putin? And let's make a sweetheart deal. And we will agree not to force you out of, you can have control. As long as you promise you're not going to threaten the West at all, because we will come and take you out. But what do you need? I guarantee you that's going on right now. Just watch the news. You see Zelensky running his mouth right now. I don't know what Facebook user put this video makes sense. I don't know who that is, Facebook user. But yeah, I'm taking you a little bit to school without going into too much details. I'm trying to break this down in a way my mom, because anytime my mom sees news like this, she calls me up and says, "Okay, explain to me what's happening, what's going on." So I'm pretending like I'm on the phone with my mom right now, talking to you guys, breaking this down. All right. So the next question, as we watch this live, is how is it going to affect the market? Well, this morning, let me refresh again. We're looking at, oh, wow. The crypto market is at 1.2 trillion right now. Bitcoin dominance is at 48.4%. Ethereum is at 18.5%. We got to look week to week, because the last time I did a public talk was a week ago. A week to week. So the last 7 days, Bitcoin is up 15.5%. Ethereum is up 8.9%. Man, I made a lot of money off of Ethereum this past week. That's at least 6 figures plus, up 8.9%. USDC, no, that's stable. BNB, though, dropped. Wow. With their attack that's going on, that's Leonard, okay, about keeping Africa poor and stealing resources. Yep. BNB dropped almost 2% on the week. So this is what we call an outlier. So when I see just off the top 9 tokens, all green except BNB, you ask why, and we already know why. The SEC is going after them. But they did just reach a deal last week. And we're going to see if we can cover some of that news today too. Lido staked Ether is right. What the hell? They are rising fast. Number 7. It's up 8.7% on the week. This is one I have not paid attention to. Let me write this down. Check out. I know I don't own any of this. Lido staked Ether. I'm going to have to look at that. It's number 7 token now. Cardano's up 9.2. Doge 7.3. Solana 8.1. Litecoin's up 16.7%. Tron, Polkadot, Matic, Wrapped Bitcoin, Shiba Inu. It's up almost 15%. Avalanche, 11.4. Whoa. What the? Bitcoin Cash? Up 78.8% on the week, 30% in the last 24 hours? Anybody heard any news about Bitcoin Cash? Why are they spiking like that? They're the biggest one in the last 24 hours, probably in the last week. Leo token, Chainlink Monero, and Ethereum Classic. The two forked tokens, Bitcoin and Ethereum's forked, they had a very good week. Stellar, 13.6. All right, let's see the best performers over the past week. Bitcoin Cash and Pepe. Didn't you hear me talk about Pepe from the beginning? I talked about there's this new Bitcoin standard that is going underneath the radar screen for the casual crypto person. They don't know what's going on. But Pepe is leading the way. Say Bitcoin Cash could be because of misunderstanding from people getting into the market and wanting to get Bitcoin. Yeah. That could be. 60.8% Pepe. Look at that explosion there. Bitcoin SV, it's Craig Wright's token, is up 54%. So the forked tokens, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, Kava 34.2, Conflux, Stacks, Kaspa, Ethereum Classic. I thought that was dead. Ethereum Classic, VeChain, eCash. I'm not familiar with that token. Axie Infinity, Litecoin, Hedera. There's Bitcoin, 15.5. Who had a bad week? Rocket Pool is down 8.4%. Ooh. Qcoin down 8%. Quant down 5.4%. BitTorrent, BNB, Trust Wallets down 1.3%. Frax Share, Gemini. Okay, that's it. So just BitTorrent, really, BNB, BitTorrent, Quant, Qcoin, and Rocket Pool. So it's been a good week in the crypto space across the board, pretty much. It's been a good week. All right, let's look at some news here. Supreme Court. The U.S. Supreme Court halts Coinbase cases in its first crypto ruling. Wow, that's history. History in the making. U.S. Supreme Court's very first crypto ruling was in favor for crypto. Mark that one down. The United States Supreme Court ruled in favor of Coinbase in its first ever opinion on a cryptocurrency case on June 23rd. We are living through history. All of this is going to be in the history books. The United States Supreme Court decided in favor of cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase on June 23rd in a partisan opinion. Partisan opinion. So that means that you've got 6 of the justices are on the conservative side and 3 of them are on the liberal side. So let's see if that's the case here. What happened? So that means the conservative justices voted in favor and the liberal justices against. Let's see. This is decided in favor of crypto exchange Coinbase. Partisan opinion that will halt court proceedings against the company in 2 California cases. And I still find that interesting too. In California, the blue state, and they're being hard on crypto. Okay. Plaintiffs in the class action lawsuits allege Coinbase failed to provide proper relief after users lost money and that Coinbase allegedly engaged in deceptive advertising. Coinbase asked the district courts overseeing the cases to dismiss them on the grounds that, per the company, users signed an agreement upon creating their accounts stating that such disputes would be handled through arbitration in lieu of lawsuits. That is why it is very important that you guys actually read the terms and conditions and stuff when you are creating an account with anything. Don't just scroll all the way down and then check the box. Read the fine print. So yeah, it doesn't matter whether you like it or not. It was stated to the customer. The customer opted in. Therefore, the customer takes responsibility. Per the document, the sole question here is whether the district court must stay its pretrial and trial proceedings while the interlocutory appeal is ongoing. The answer is yes. The district court must stay its proceedings. The rulings mark the U.S. High Court's first cryptocurrency-related ruling. Justice Brett Kavanaugh wrote the opinion, which was supported by 4 of the court's other conservative justices and a 5-4 vote. So one of the conservatives didn't vote for it. California district courts will now kick both cases into arbitration. I want to know what was the dissent's decision. What did the dissent say on this? California district courts will now kick both cases into arbitration, which is typically less costly for companies than arguing or settling cases through the courts. While this represents a win for Coinbase, it could also have a ripple effect throughout the crypto industry. Yeah, because basically they were trying to hold Coinbase accountable for their customers losing money. So let's not celebrate this just yet. Let me see here. As the court wrote in its opinion, when creating a Coinbase account, individuals agree to the terms in Coinbase's user agreement. As relevant here, the user agreement contains in arbitration provision, which directs that disputes arising under the agreement be resolved through binding arbitration. After California's district courts denied Coinbase requests for arbitration in the aforementioned cases, the company filed appeals requesting a stay while the appeals were handled. But the courts were inclined to continue the civil case in spite of the company's appeals. Yeah, Coinbase is going to win that. It's right there in plain writing. You just didn't read what you signed. The Supreme Court's June 23rd decision grants the stays and allows Coinbase's appeals to go through before the class action suits can continue. The court's decision affords Coinbase the same legal treatment typically given to all companies under the U.S. Federal Arbitration Act of 1925. It's unclear at this time how similar cases against other cryptocurrency companies will be affected, and there's no indication that this case will affect the Securities Exchange Commission ongoing action against Coinbase. However, it is notable that the Supreme Court's ruling essentially underpins the idea that existing laws can be seamlessly applied to cases involving the cryptocurrency industry. All right, I live by a rule in not just the crypto space, but investing. And my rule is simple. I assume that whatever I invest, I am at risk of losing all of it. Okay? That things can go bad. I already know most businesses fail in their first year, and then 90% of those that do succeed fail within their second year. That's a statistic across the entire field, no matter the industry. It is not a guarantee that just because you invest in something or get involved in something that it's going to succeed. And since most people are financially illiterate in the first place, they have no business investing, they don't understand loss, that the moment that they lose, they start screaming bloody murder and want to start suing everybody and pointing fingers. And that's when you have class action lawsuits. And I'm not saying that there's not cases for that, but I've never been involved in any class action lawsuit or start crying. I lost my money and I start crying about it, and I'm harping over it, and I want to try to sue somebody. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I'm not giving any advice, that's a waste of time. I tried, I took a risk on something, it didn't work. I'm moving on, and I learned a lesson from it. They pulled a rug pull, they screwed me, they did this. Let me make sure I'm reading the fine print next time. It's a lesson learned, and I keep moving forward. And always when I hear people doing class action lawsuits, I'm like, I've already made more money back than I lost in the first place, while you guys are so busy trying to get lawyers together and pay for all this for a class action lawsuit that you may not see the results of for 5 to 7 years, if you do. And the only ones who make money are the lawyers. It's the lawyers. So move on. Yeah, it sucks. Move on. Take the lesson and keep it moving. All right. That's just me, in my opinion. Some of you guys, oh no. I still got people crying to me about things from 4 years ago, and they're paralyzed. I'm like, you're still in 2018? Good Lord. All right. SEC approves. Ooh, this is also big news. Whoa, a lot of bigs happening right now. Supreme Court ruling, SEC, first Bitcoin futures ETF, Russia's on the verge of civil war, the volatility shares 2x Bitcoin strategy ETF is scheduled to launch on the Chicago Board Options, a CBOE, next Tuesday. Oh, okay. The last time the CBOE did something in the crypto space was I know the exact date, December 17th, 2017. Yeah, didn't I say that? Month of June. I said this summer. Oh, didn't I say this is a hot summer? Something big's going down this summer, and it's not going to be just one thing. It's going to be a combination of things. Well, those of you in my inner circle, you've been hearing me say this. I can't put my finger on just what. I know some hot spots. I know BRICS and Russia, the U.S. economy. I know some hot spots. We also still got a former president with 2 indictments on him, and maybe 2 more to come. And that's another fear I have. Well, not a fear, but a prediction. If it's not an if, when former President Donald Trump gets that 3rd indictment, whether it's from Georgia, where they call in Georgia interference in the election process, or January 6th inciting a storm on the Capitol, either one of those, the Republican leaders are already planting the seed that if he gets indicted for a 3rd time, all hell's going to break loose. So if that happens this summer, right when we're going into primary season, we can see United States explosion of, I don't how or what, I don't know. I just know the language that's being said right now. It doesn't matter what you believe. Okay? I'm only going off of action, reaction. Donald Trump indicted. What's the reaction of that? Donald Trump's not indicted. What's the reaction of that? So a 3rd indictment, it's going to be screaming bloody murder, 2-tier justice system. We got a one party using their political power and to go after another one. It's unfair. It doesn't matter if the allegations are true or not. That's not what's going to be debated, or whether or not there's actual guilt. It's just the fact that you're bringing a charge, period. So yeah, that we got a hot summer. So these are things that are outside of our control. So instead of crying about what you believe or don't believe, I'm looking at how can it affect us financially. What is it going to do to the markets? Oh, Turkish president expressed full support to Putin. So now, now they got it. They're making their phone calls to see who's with who. What generals are backing Putin, and which ones are going to go against them. I bet you Putin is sitting in a bunker somewhere. He's not even in Moscow. He's sitting in a Tony Stark style mansion bunker. They got tanks rolling down the street. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm going to have this on all day, paying attention. That's in Rostov, Russia. All right. Oh, yeah. Looking at this. SEC approves first leveraged Bitcoin ETF. The SEC has approved the first leveraged Bitcoin futures on Friday. Volatility shares 2x Bitcoin strategy is scheduled to launch on the CBOE. Oh, yeah. Wasn't that AI? ChatGPT made a prediction about 4 months ago that said that they believe Bitcoin is going to hit $50,000 a coin in June. What is Bitcoin price at right now? 30,400? Don't tell me. And I said, I don't think it's going to happen. Remember that? I said, Bitcoin ain't going to hit no $50,000 in June. ChatGPT said it will. Ooh, my brain versus AI. Wow. All right. It's June 24th. ChatGPT has 6 more days. And here we got a freaking civil war in Russia that can mess up the financial markets. Oh, wow. Who's going to be right? Me or ChatGPT? All right. So an ETF or exchange traded fund bundles securities like stocks and commodities. Investors can buy shares of an ETF to gain exposure to those securities without owning them directly. We already went over in detail in the inner circle what an ETF is. So you guys should already know this. In the case of Bitcoin ETFs, there have been 2 main types, Bitcoin futures and Bitcoin spot. The BitX fund will be a leveraged ETF. Leveraged funds use debt or financial derivatives in this case, Bitcoin futures, as leverage to amplify the returns of a benchmark index. That leverage can mean short-term gains for investors, but it can also lead to big losses. Today's news was mostly lauded by cryptocurrency advocates across the market. However, it does leave space for some questions. When we look back on the Bitcoin ETF saga in 5 or 10 years, this will be one of the most ridiculous aspects, a 2x leveraged futures product launching before a straightforward spot ETF. Nate Geraci, co-founder of the ETF Institute, wrote on Twitter. He ended his tweet with, wild. What do they think this is going to do for the market? Because, I forgot to finish my point. The last time something like this happened with the CBOE, December 17th, 2017, Bitcoin reached the $20,000 price. And then on that date, the moment the CBOE went live, it went down. It never came back up until 2021. So that high again, 2022, 2021. But we're talking about it went all the way down to $3,000 because the big boys, the Wall Street came in and they bet against Bitcoin. They're like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me all the poor retail investors got Bitcoin all the way to $20,000 without us? Oh, hell no, we're not buying it at no $20,000. And they came in, shorted the market, dropped the whole thing all the way down, and then they bought the dip. And all the uneducated people were selling their Bitcoin of a fear of loss because they thought they were losing all their money. And the rich people just bought the dip. This is why education is key. Education is everything. All right. So what is going to happen now? On the news of BlackRock applying for a Bitcoin ETF, just the idea of it, the markets rose. Same way in 2017 in November when they were saying the CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and the CBOE was coming live in December. Everybody, here come the rich people. Let's start buying now. And we pushed it from 5,000 to 20,000. And then the moment it went live, it dropped. So what's going to happen here? Just off the hype of BlackRock, the market's going up. But if the CBOE hits again with this ETF, will the markets drop again? Will they short it? I don't know. I need more case study. I only have one example. Okay. Oh, other news was Hunter Biden is pleading guilty. But that's not enough. One political party wants to see Hunter Biden's head on a spike. And they believe he got a sweetheart deal, a slap on the wrist. But again, if you look at the charge, it's the same charge that Roger Stone had as far as taxes. Roger Stone had to pay $2 million back and was supposed to have 1 year in jail, but he got pardoned by the president. Hunter Biden was a $1 million charge, and he's pleading guilty to it with no jail time. So Roger Stone was sentenced to jail. Hunter Biden was not on the same lesser charge. Interesting. But anyways, we have a lot happening in the political space that we got to pay attention to this summer. We don't know how this is going to play out. Macro strategist David Hunter, 0.07% of BlackRock money could clean out all. That is true because BlackRock represents it wasn't a $15 trillion. What is it? $2 or $3 trillion BlackRock represents. And the entire Bitcoin market cap is $500 billion, almost 600 billion. But BlackRock can push the crypto market to a $15 trillion market. And that goes back when I say that there are more millionaires and billionaires on the planet today. And if every single one of them wanted to buy one whole Bitcoin and they can afford to do it, there's not enough to go around. So even though BlackRock's money could clean out, it wouldn't, because the moment they start buying like that, the price of Bitcoin is going to shoot up sky high, even out of their price range to do like buy it all up. And that's why we saw that article last week where they're confident that Bitcoin is going to reach $1 million per coin. Remember that? This is why. All right. Macro strategist David Hunter predicts global markets melt up surge in the fourth quarter 2023, followed by impending bust. They got this article, Wall Street in Panic as stocks crash. This was October 1929. It's a stock market crash. Look at the other headlines of this year. Attempt made to kill Italy's crown prince. Look at the year, 1929. This was the beginning of World War II. In America, we study World War II from when America entered the war, right? In the bombing of Pearl Harbor. But the rest of the world, the war started before America even got in. Let's see this. Feared 52 perished in Lake Michigan. A ferry is missing. Oh yeah, the Titanic thing too. You guys been watching that? That Titan sub imploded. How you going? You're gonna go see the Titanic and you die at the Titanic 80 plus years later, or what? Almost 100 years later now. Stocks crash and rush to sell. Billions lost. What was billions in 1929? High Duty Group gave $700,000 to Coolidge Drive. Calvin Coolidge? Grundy agrees rates went up due to his activeness as propagandist. Favors more lobbying to carry out voters' wish. Oh, wow. I love this type of stuff. Assassin caught in Brussels mob. So that's the attempt to kill Italy's crown prince. Hollywood fire destroys films worth millions. What else here? Carnegie charge Hoover's train. No, Carnegie charge of paid athletes. Hoover's train halted by auto. So these are the headlines. 1929. Okay. David Hunter, the chief macro strategist at Contrarian Macro Advisors, predicts an interesting development for global markets in the fourth quarter. According to him, now we're not talking about just crypto markets, we're talking about global markets. Global markets will experience a remarkable surge, aptly described as a melt up. However, this surge will be short-lived, as a substantial downturn is expected to follow. Hunter emphasizes that after this rise and fall, we won't witness the same lofty peaks of the 41-year secular bull cycle for many years to come. Yeah, but that's going to be good news on crypto, though. He warns of a global 80% downturn. So what type of a downturn? A little downturn or a very big one? In an interview with Kitco News lead anchor and editor-in-chief Michelle McCory, David Hunter delved into the realm of the economy, unraveling a compelling narrative of a potential melt-up scenario, renowned for his remarkable knack for forecasting economic cycles. All right, so this isn't some hack. He's done this before. And identifying market trends ahead of the curve, Hunter unveiled his forecast. He painted a picture of the S&P 500 soaring by a staggering 36%, while the value of gold would ascend to $3,000 per ounce. What is the value of gold right now? I think it was $1,500 or $1,600 per ounce. So you mean to tell me that he thinks it's going to double? However, Hunter cautioned that these bullish scenarios will be fleeting, as an imminent and significant market bust looms on the horizon, paving the way for a profound recession. My S&P target is 6 to 7,000, Hunter explained during his interview with Macquarie. My targets are gold to 3,000 pre-bust and silver to $60 pre-bust. So you know what? If you guys are investing in gold and silver, the moment you see it reach this high, sell it. All right? Sell it. I will put it in crypto. And I will put it in a stable coin in crypto. We'll probably see most of the melt up move by the end of the summer. Okay. Which could be by Labor Day, but it could stretch into September. All right. So what exactly is a melt up? Traditionally, these market phenomena resemble bull traps, serving as deceptive and unreliable signals of an impending market surge. The gains experienced during a melt-up are often viewed with skepticism because, despite the temporary upward momentum, the underlying fundamentals of the market continue to deteriorate. Throughout history, melt-ups have frequently paved the way for subsequent meltdowns, reminiscent of the notable fall melt-up of 2011, aptly dubbed the Great Surprise. Oh, it is, too. So if he's talking about by the end of the summer, BRICS nations meets at the end of the summer. I swear, none of this is coincidence. This is all by design. Hunter suggests that we have found ourselves nearing the culmination of a significant 41-year secular bull run that commenced in 1982. Wow. I was 6. That is when the disinflation trend began and interest rates peaked out. I think the highs of this bull market will not likely be seen again for decades. Oh yeah, I'm all in crypto. Throughout the turbulent economic history of the United States, significant transformations such as the notorious Great Depression and the formidable Great Recession were marked up by the occurrence of tantalizing melt-ups. These preludes to market busts enticed investors with their deceptive allure. Prior to the infamous stock market crash in 1929, an extended period of prosperity propelled stock prices to unprecedented heights, witnessing a staggering quadrupling in value from 1920 to 1929. Fueled by misguided optimism, investors fell victim to the illusory signals of the melt-up, succumbing to the temptation of borrowing extensively to pour more funds into the market. According to Hunter, the U.S. Federal Reserve's implementation of quantitative tightening measures has surpassed the optimal threshold, pushing it into the realm of going too far. Economist Steve Hanke echoes this sentiment as he recently emphasized that the current monetary tightening bears an uncanny resemblance to the contractionary policies witnessed in 1938 or 1939. In a recent interview, Hanke drew attention to the parallels between the present circumstances and the historical instances of economic shrinkage. While speaking with Macquarie, Hunter insists we are in uncharted territory. The formula is really, wait, I said that, here's the key. We are in uncharted territory. The formula is really economic fragility caused by the pandemic, plus potentially the biggest policy error over tightening in history. Everything in our lifetimes, we're seeing things are done right now ever. It's never happened before in history. It didn't happen for our parents, grandparents. We're talking about the biggest policy error in history by central banks and plus leverage. You've got a formula which takes a normal recession into something far worse. Now, what did Jamie Dimon say, the CEO of JP Morgan? Those of you that's been in the financial crypto storm is coming. What did he predict? He said There is a hurricane, a financial hurricane, biggest that we've ever seen, coming our way. You can't stop it. You can't move out of its way. But he then said, but whatever comes, JP Morgan is prepared to weather it out and to not take advantage of, to prosper on what the aftermath is going to be. So if he makes a statement like that, then if you're smart, you take a look at, okay, what is JP Morgan doing right now that we know about to prepare for this financial hurricane that they've already stated is coming? What are they doing? I'm telling you what they're doing. They're getting to everything digital. They created a company called Onyx. They're investing heavily in the metaverse. They're coming out with their own CBDC. Well, actually, they already did, but the CBDC they came out with was only for the wealthy in using their bank internally. Now they want to use that in Europe. They're opening it up. They're not opening it up in the United States. Isn't that interesting? They're opening it up in Europe. Oh, there you go, right there. JP Morgan introduces euro-denominated payments. Euro. They didn't do US. There's a reason they didn't do US, because they know something as well. They know the United States is preparing to launch a CBDC. It's not a matter of if. It's not a matter of if. Hey, Paul, I'm right in the middle of crypto talk.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Do we want to reschedule or what?
Oh, yes. We had that meeting. Yes, please, if we can reschedule. That's at the top of the hour. Just after we can move it back just 1 hour.
1 o'clock?
Yeah, 1 o'clock Eastern. That's 10 a.m. Wait a minute. Hold on. I got the WCL at that time. 2 p.m. Eastern. Can we do 2 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah, I'll check with him.
Yeah, let's check with them and do that.
Okay,
All right, thanks, Paul. Bye-bye. I'm in a flow right now. I don't want to break that up. This is important. So the formula is really economic fragility caused by pandemic. Wait, that did break me up. Okay, where was I going with this? Hunter, I'll just read it. It'll come back to me. Hunter explained that the type of bust he envisions will entail markets recording an 80% drawdown. And while he predicts gold will reach an all-time high this year, precious metals like gold and silver will drop back to today's levels. I don't think very many assets are going to be able to escape a deflationary bust. The macro strategist concluded, however, that gold and silver will see upsides following the bust, and both could rise 10 times higher in value after the bottom. 10 times higher in value. Gold and silver will see upsides following the bust. So will crypto. Okay. What else I got here? Winklevoss twins rail against US SEC's anti-crypto stance. It does not feel like America. Oh, it feels like Venezuela. The Winklevoss twins, founders of Gemini, a US-based crypto exchange, have criticized the SEC for its perceived anti-crypto stance and recent enforcement actions. In a recent interview, the Winklevoss twins commented that the regulatory environment in the US felt like third world, like Venezuela, for builders in the crypto world. Winklevoss twins against SEC. Building crypto in the US feels like Venezuela. Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, founders of Gemini, a US-based crypto exchange, have criticized the regulatory environment that crypto builders face in the country with the recent enforcement actions by the SEC. In a recent interview, the Winklevoss twins explained the difficulties that existing regulation poses to crypto investors. They detailed that the launch of a rule-compliant crypto exchange in the U.S. involved getting a state license for every state served, and a money transfer license, raising the cost to enter the crypto business. Who are the Winklevoss brothers? They are actually the original founders of Facebook. They're the ones who went to school with Mark Zuckerberg and tried to create Facebook, and Zuckerberg screwed them out of it, and they actually won a lawsuit against Mark Zuckerberg. There's a movie based on this, and I don't remember the name of the movie, but there's a movie where you can see the founding of Facebook. If you guys remember the name of the movie, please type it into the chat box. And so they then created a company called Gemini, and they're the first real major investors in Bitcoin. They bought about $7 million worth of Bitcoin in 2000, was it 10 or 11? And it's now worth more than $1 billion today. So yeah, that's who the Winklevoss twins are. They won't tell you that you need to, they won't tell you what you need to do to comply. They won't tell you these are the roles. Thank you, Patty. Social Network. Watch that movie. If you haven't seen it, what inspired Zuckerberg, how Facebook came to be. The whole Web 2.0 industry started from that. Now we're in Web 3.0. Okay. They won't tell you what you need to do to comply. They won't tell you what these are, tell you these are the roads. They are paved. There's a speed limit. There isn't a path for people who want to comply. Furthermore, they explained that building in crypto in the U.S. feels like Venezuela, commenting that common protections do not apply in the crypto world. Further criticisms, the Winklevoss twins further criticized the lack of clarity of the SEC regarding the classification of certain cryptocurrency assets. In the case of Ether, the twins detailed that even though the Ethereum network is 10 years old, there is still no clarity about how it will be classified, with SEC Chairman Gary Gensler refusing to answer a direct question on the subject in a congressional hearing in April. They declared, the only thing that the U.S. regulators seem to agree on is that Bitcoin is a commodity, but they won't agree on any other crypto. Due to all of these complications, the Winklevoss twins believe that there will be a crypto flippening from America to Asia, where regions such as the Asia Pacific and the Middle East and North Africa will grow to be the largest source of revenue for Gemini. Compared to the U.S., where the twins explained the environment is hostile and you can't get anything done, these jurisdictions offer friendlier crypto regulations. Others have warned about crypto fleeing to other, less hostile markets, including Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong and U.S. Senator Cynthia Lummis. Now, if you're asking yourself, well, doesn't the U.S. government know this? Why would they continue going down this path knowing that their biggest companies are going to leave? Because there's an agenda in place. They need to clear out the field because they are going to be introducing the CBDC. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That's why all of this is taking place. Brazil to push de-dollarization agenda at BRICS meeting. I don't know if there's another Indian pact going on like BRICS, but India is part of BRICS. Let's see. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, I tell you, I love that name, has revealed his intention to raise the issue of de-dollarization at the next BRICS meeting. Just imagine that. We just had the Indian Prime Minister visiting a state visit to the United States. Can you imagine the showdown? In this corner, we've got the President of Brazil, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, versus Smoking Joe Biden, President of the United States, or Sleepy Joe, whoever you want to call him. Why Brazil and Argentina would trade in dollars? Oh, this is a quote. Okay. Why Brazil and Argentina would trade in dollars. Why don't we do it in our own currencies? Why can't Brazil and China trade in their currencies? The question of why I need to buy dollars is on my agenda, said the Brazilian president. Brazil intends to discuss de-dollarization with BRICS partners. They're saying this publicly. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva stated on Friday during the Paris summit on a new global financial pact that he intends to raise the issue of de-dollarization at the next BRICS meeting. The BRICS nations comprise Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The economic bloc's leaders summit is set to take place in Johannesburg, South Africa. Joburg, on August 22nd to the 24th. You might want to remember that date. The Brazilian president was quoted by the news outlet as saying, "It's not clear why Brazil and Argentina would trade in dollars. Why don't we use our own currencies? Why can't Brazil and China trade in their currencies? The question of why I need to buy dollars is on my agenda. And if it depends on me and only me, then we will discuss this at the next BRICS meeting." So he's making it a point. This will be discussed, period. They're one of the founding countries of BRICS. Leaders from 50 states are gathering in Paris for a 2-day summit on a new global financial pact hosted by French President Emmanuel Macron. The objective of the meeting is to reach a consensus on reforming the global financial system and develop proposals for further discussion in other forums. Hold up. If you're going to reform the current system, who is currently benefiting from the current system? I mean, not rhetorical. A lot of people may not know this. What nation right now is benefiting the most from the current system? It's the United States. So if we got our competitors in the BRICS nations talking about de-dollarization, but then we got our allies in Europe talking about reforming the global financial system, remember I say for every action, there is a reaction. It doesn't matter what you like or what you don't like. When for 8 years, not 8, 16, since Reagan was president, all the way up to the end of Obama's presidency, we had 2 Republican presidents and 2 Democrat presidents. All 4 administrations had the same international policy that was changed for the first time since before World War II, really. Maybe the 60s. That was changed under President Trump to move America to a more isolationist role and leave the rest of the world on their own. You know, they pay for themselves. Why are we paying for them? That was the whole point. You know, keep American dollars here and we want to build us. They got to pay their fair share, all that. But what that did was the unintended consequence, or if it was planned, I can't tell. I don't want to go down conspiracy. But the consequence of that was these nations say, okay, United States does not want to take the lead anymore. That means we are going to have to step up ourselves and take the lead. And I'm telling you from a historical perspective, that is dangerous, because the last time we let these countries stand up for themselves and not be controlled by us, it led to World War I and World War II, because the nature of a country is to look after their own interests. And if you've got 30 nations, 20 nations all around each other looking after their own interests, there's going to be conflict. They're not going to be on the same page. NATO, the United Nations, the United States held everything together. And we slapped down any leader in those countries saying something stupid. So this is the unintended consequence. So now we got the French president saying, hey, we can't rely on the U.S. They're flaky over there. They don't know which way to. Every 4 years, we might have a different president who's going in a different direction. We can't count on them. They're not united. So we got to do for us. And if that means throwing the United States under the bus, that's exactly what they're going to do. Because in their opinion, we threw them under the bus. This is how they believe. It doesn't matter if it's actually right or not. This is what they believe. So this is going to hurt us. Reform the global financial system. Let's see what else he's saying here. Last week, Macron reportedly expressed interest. What? I mean, do I need to? Are we just handing them the knife to stick in our back? France wants to attend the BRICS summit. However, Russia has opposed the French president's participation, citing a hostile and unacceptable policy. Well, who would France be representing there? Would they be representing the West, or what they are they making a statement saying, hey guys, hey, you know, I know we've been fighting for a while, but hey, US over there, I ain't gonna lie, they're tripping over there. So we kind of want to, you know, we're not saying we're gonna join you, but we kind of want to, you know, we want to sit in and listen. What y'all got going over here? Just in case US really acts crazy and we really got to make some new decisions. But Russia's not having it yet. Russia's like, nah, partner, nah, we don't. You're still in bed with US. We don't trust you just yet. But the fact that he's even saying this, the Brazilian president has been vocal about countries ditching the US dollar in global trade and using their national currencies instead. He has also expressed support for the creation of a common BRICS currency, a topic that is expected to be discussed at the economic bloc's upcoming Leaders Summit. Lula said in April, I am in favor of creating within the BRICS a trading currency between our countries, just like the Europeans created the euro. He also sees the BRICS Bank as an alternative financial institution, stating in May, we want the BRICS Bank to strengthen as an alternative instrument for financing, and we will reinforce our cooperation with the African Development Bank. I didn't expect this. I expected, remember I said in Inner Circle Crypto Talk that the nations in the world are choosing sides? And I said you got the West, but most of the other countries that have always been dependent on the West are going to start looking towards BRICS. I did not expect a major nation like France is also thinking like, hey, you know, we might want to look at this. And another reason why I say that is, and I said stick the knife in our back, was if it wasn't for us, French people would be speaking German right now. Just like Saudi Arabia. I feel like Saudi Arabia is stabbing the U.S. in the back. If it wasn't for the Bush family, we would have invaded Saudi Arabia, not freaking Iraq after 9/11. Iraq had nothing to do with it. 19 of the damn hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. Saddam Hussein. Oh my goodness. Am I really getting old? Osama bin Laden. He's from Saudi Arabia. He's part of the royal family by marriage and business. But we went after Iraq. And what does Saudi Arabia turn around and do? Oh, yeah, we want to join BRICS. Screw the United States. But they only feel emboldened to do that because of the last administration changed our policies. So now the rest of the world sees us as being weak. We're not united. Whew. And then I'm going to end on that. But I will give you a sneak peek of something that you haven't heard from yet publicly. Dark fusion technology. So for those of you who have been seeing me running my mouth about Starvara, the metaverse, and everything else, this is what it's really about. Dark fusion technology. This is what's powering Starvara. This is what I'm investing in. This is why I'm excited and why I'm here. Simple tokens, simple smart contract modeling, staking, real NFTs, batching, blockchain as a service, which means those of us who are taking advantage are going to be rewarded from other outside businesses and contractors using this technology for their businesses. The same technology that is powering Starvara. Are you kidding me? This is what it's about. And we just introduced this. You'll be hearing me speak more and more about this on the crypto side. Right now, you've been hearing me speaking more and more about the game. But I'm going to be talking about the technology very, very soon. All right. With that, let me stop share screen. There we go. All right. I hope you learned something new. As always, that's the point. I have nothing else today except I got a WCL thing in 30 minutes. Paul, if you're listening, I apologize. We ran a little late and I was in a zone. I couldn't cut that out. I'll meet with your guy later on. And I'm not doing anything tonight. So the next broadcast will be on tomorrow night. I am doing a Starvara presentation, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, Starvara presentation and training, team training. That's going to be tomorrow night. So with that, again, I hope you learned something new. As always, that's the point. Bitcoin Brandon out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.